there seems to be growing support for this idea of treating gun violence as a public health emergency.
Which it clearly is. And the fact that we're not treating it as such is clearly because the gun lobby has kept us from putting the resources in place to study it appropriately. I mean, we all know you can't make progress on an issue if you don't have the right measurements, you don't know what the baseline is. I mean, tens of thousands of Americans are dying every period. This is clearly a public health epidemic.
If we treated it as such, how would that look? How would that change our approach from a policy standpoint?
And this is one reason why the lobbyists are fighting it. So I just want to talk about the lobbyists for just a moment. At this point, as you said, Craig, 90% of Americans agree on many of these common sense gun laws, and we're not getting them across the finish line. So our legislature now does not reflect the will of the people. And why is that? It's because they're scared of the NRA, they're scared of the gun lobby, they're held hostage by this corporate money. It's very difficult to get that corporate money out of politics. It's going to just try and creep its way back in. So to me, the best solution is to flush the money out with people-powered money. And what do I mean by that? I've been running for president for a little while now, and the sad truth is that the people are here and the money's over here. And if you're a legislator, then you start getting attracted to the money over time because it's easier to count and measure, and they can give you a job afterwards, and the food is better. Like that you just naturally end up just gravitating towards the money. And what we have to do is we have to make the will of the people and the source of money the same thing. And the way we do that is by giving every American voter, adult, 100 democracy dollars that you can then give to any candidate or campaign or cause, and then we could flush out the lobbyist money by a factor of 8 to 1. So if I get 10,000 Americans who give me $100 each in this democracy dollars voucher, I get $1 million. And then when the NRA lobbyist or the gun lobby comes along and says, I'm going to give you $100,000 to bury this legislation, you say, I don't care about your $100,000, I'm getting $1 million from the people. That's how we override the stranglehold. We break the stranglehold that the NRA and the gun lobbies have over our laws. As someone who's studied a lot of these economic problems, this is called an externality, where if you have, and this is a very tragic human externality, where if someone kills someone with a gun, or if it's a mass shooting, what happens to the gun company's stocks the next day? They go up, that's right. So when there's a mass shooting, people run out and buy guns because they're afraid that legislation is coming, and so gun sales go up. And this is the most perverse, nasty set of incentives you can imagine. Because if you're a gun manufacturer, you actually profit when there's a mass shooting. This is called an externality, like this tragedy. And so ideally, you would have the gun companies themselves have to pay a fine anytime their product is used to kill an American. And then the incentives would be reversed very quickly, because if my firearm, my product gets used in a mass shooting, then all of a sudden I get hit with a $10 million fine the next day. Then do you think I might be more open to some legislation that helps bring the casualty rate down? And so this is true in many aspects of American life. It's true for pollution as well. Like if I pollute, then like everyone pays and I don't pay. And one of the big things we have to correct as a country is to bring the tragedies and the externalities into the corporate balance sheet. Because they're going to do what they think is in their financial best interest. We have to make it in their financial best interest to make us safer.